The 31st lap is brought to you by the Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, serving the Finger Lakes since 1963, and DirtTrackDigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Chris Marquardt.
Good evening and welcome to the 31st Lap on a balmy, sticky, muggy, rainy Thursday. Episode number 78. We got Jay Fish joining us in studio. I hope everybody liked that new intro. Jim's been working on that. Jay Fish is in studio with us. And we've also got Empire Super Sprint's one and only Dean Reynolds. And he's here with his phone, which he didn't mute yet, which is powered by AT&T and Lucas Oil.
Oh, he wants me to mute it. God. Okay,
yeah, I know. I got all these demands now.
It's muted now.
We're moving up.
By the way, was that sponsored you had?
Yeah.
Well, Dirt Track Digest has to be a trade-off because Mallett's got no money.
He doesn't now that he bought Dirt Track Digest.
So
he's going to kill us for that.
The Amico's brand new.
Yeah. D'Amico, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Geneva on 5 and
Welcome
20
aboard.
has signed a one-year deal with the 31st lap. So they're going to be with us week in and week out for the next 52 weeks or something close to that, depending on how many weeks we take off in the wintertime. It's awesome to have them aboard. It's a long-time racing family. I bought my car there. My wife got her car there. Our neighbor Bill got his Jeep Compass there. My neighbor Jen got her Chrysler 200 there. Mike Godkin is probably the best salesman in the world. I mean, he calls me all the time just to see what's going on and see what's up with race cars. I mean, how can you argue with that?
That's awesome.
there you go.
And then, I mean, the whole D'Amico family, they've been there forever. Like the ad said, they're from going back to the 60s. There's a full page ad in the showroom right next to a big picture of Richard Petty that was signed of his Charger going around the track at Daytona.
Wicked.
Charger with the wing on the back?
No, that was
not
that
the
was,
Roadrunner or whatever.
Not the
they call
Superbird.
those.
No.
Superbird, yeah,
Superbird.
Yeah.
He was running Plymouth at that time. It was like a mid-70s Charger, like a 73, 74, something like that. One of his title years.
Mm-hmm.
And next to that is a full-page ad from the Geneva Times, and it's got all the cars, like the new lineup with the New Yorker, the Newport, the Imperial, and it's got a picture of the new thing, the new showroom and stuff. It's really cool. It's really neat to see, and it's a lot of fun to see that, and to have them as part of the show. I mean, I couldn't be happier to have a Mopar sponsor.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, John was really excited about that, too. And like I said, they'll officially start the first week of July, but I think we're going to be taking the 4th of July off. So, D'Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep right there.
You should come to Brewerton and do a live remote.
We talked about that, but it's also
I'm all for that.
Yeah, it's the beginning of a very, very busy July.
Demo Derby season has started.
We're going to be in Boston the 6th and 7th. We'll travel home the 8th. We'll be in Penn Yan on the 9th. We'll be in Penn Yan on the 13th. The following Tuesday is Waterloo. The following Saturday is Waterloo. The following Tuesday is Chautauqua County. Wednesday is Broome County. The following Sunday is back in Dunkirk. And then the Saturday and Monday following that is Malone.
The junkyards are going to be
7
on
races
fire.
in 9 nights. What's he talking about?
The junkyards will be on
because
fire.
you don't have to edit the video.
God. No, but I do have to keep 40 sprint car drivers in line.
Yeah, but once the checkered flag falls, you're done.
No, not really.
Yeah,
that's when it starts.
Not really.
That's
Sometimes
when
it starts.
I've seen what happens.
So have I.
I've seen. I've seen Dean.
They got to go across the scales first, right?
Oh, jeez.
I've seen poor Dean expertly run a show and then have to totally flip the script and have to go into full politician / psychologist / what other 18 hats do you have to wear after a race is over? You know, all those things come into play, and that's when the work sometimes starts at the racetrack.
Actually, this year's been awesome, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been awesome. Now we got John Tiff to take all the blows.
That's true.
Yeah, so I go talk to him.
But he hasn't. I mean, John doesn't take any crap from anybody, though. I mean, I think
we
he's got
actually haven't had a single problem, though.
Yeah, he's got enough of a reputation where even and enough respect within the industry where one way or the other, I don't think he's going to get too much flack because he calls it pretty fair.
Yeah, and John's great. He's respected by everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, we're lucky they have him.
Mike and John are off to the races. Rich couldn't make it because he's working. He was really hoping they would do a Wednesday show next week so he'd be able to come out. I think we're still going to take the week off. We've been going full throttle here for the last, what is it now, 3-4 months? I mean, going back all the way to like Daytona, I think we started going weekly.
We're good on the switch in times.
Yeah, so we're
So
going
we're
to
good.
have.
Yep,
so
we're
yeah,
good.
we do have a stacked show. We're waiting for the final details that to come together. Right
Yep.
around 7:30, if not before. We're going to be catching up with Joe.
Joey's
Trenca.
ready right now. If you need,
He's ready?
Whenever. Yep.
Yeah,
Whenever you want.
we might be catching up with him here in a few minutes. Lyle DeVore, general manager of Albany-Saratoga Speedway and Lebanon Valley Speedway, is going to be joining us after that. And then to cap the show, modified racer turned late model driver Gil Tegg.
Yeah,
who
I
picked
see
up a
he
win.
ran the whole series.
Yeah, it was pretty
of late
cool.
models.
He was in the Oaks car, the backup Oaks
Okay,
car.
I was wondering what car he drove.
He was out in Fonda. He was at Canandaigua, and then he I think he went up to Brighton. There was one up there,
He went up to Cornwall too.
and he was in Cornwall.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time in that late model.
See,
And-
you win one race in 17 years, you get a ride. And Gilly would laugh about that too.
well, I mean, we'll have a chance to talk to him a little bit about
Yeah.
that. But I mean, the impressive thing is the fact that he's back in a race car. I mean, by all rights,
Yeah, after what after what happened last year. I mean, he said that in the victory lane, and it's just you're lucky to be around. So now everything extra is just a bonus.
Gravy.
Yeah,
Gravy.
yeah, exactly.
and as well it is. For
It
him,
is, yeah.
he had a couple. If it wasn't for Steve Payne, he would have had some amazing seasons at Blackrock.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah, true.
or even
You know.
Charlie Donk too, when both Payne and Donk
Charlie
had
Donk,
the
sure.
TOs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's absolutely right. And he spent a lot of time at Canandaigua too. But Canandaigua, he was never as good at Canandaigua as he was at Blackrock.
Yeah. Well, he's had some good runs at Woodhull too. When he left Canandaigua to go down to Woodhull.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot.
because he was
ran
small.
Woodhull.
He was running small blocks for a long time.
Yeah, he ran a red number 6, and I can't think of the guy that owned that car. I used to sit with him in the trailer.
I think the
at Black
car's
Rock.
still around, right?
Dave Du Bois has spent some time in it. It's
I know Du Bois did.
I mean,
yeah.
it's just when I say it's a red car with a yellow number 6, it's just a red car with a yellow
That's the
number
car.
6. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you'll still see it randomly at different shows. Trying to think.
I can't think of the guy that.
Me neither.
If I had a wing on top, I tell you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said before we went on
Red
that
card
you're-
number 6, Bobby Davis Jr.
you said before the show started that you're still at heart at least
Still
somewhat
am.
of a modified
No,
guy.
still am. You know what? My favorite show all year, believe it or not, is Super Dirt Week. I look forward to Super Dirt Week every year.
Now, why is
The
Super
ultimate.
Dirt Week?
I just love the
I mean, there's so
atmosphere.
many different conversations the way that this
I've
goes.
gone
we talk
every
about
year.
Outlaw Weekend. We talk about Eastern States and all these other big events.
I love Eastern States too. Yeah.
But what about?
It's just it's the history. Me and my dad have gone there every year since '79. I've gone there and have not missed a single year at Super Dirt Week. And there's always something. See, I don't look at the racing in general, because if you look at the racing in general, you are going to be disappointed. So
Right.
Let's be fair. It's not a racetrack. You go in with that attitude. It's all about the event. It's all about the strategy. It's all about something's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen, and it's so unpredictable. There's always something during the week that's going to set the world on fire.
Yeah,
And it's just something about that place. And and you know what? I rumor goes around. I've been known to party a little bit, and you do like the atmosphere at night. I mean, it's just, the attendance is down, but the campers are up.
Yep.
And everyone stays over now. That's what you see is camper population's grown, but the walk-up population's decreased. But that means there's more people there for the whole week. Because let's face it, WRG, when you camp there, it is, it's only like $100 to camp there for the whole week.
Yeah.
Anyone
It's a
can
wicked
afford
deal.
that.
Wicked deal.
Yeah, anyone can afford it. So
I can't wait till this year now. I can't wait till Super Dirt Week.
I look forward. Like I said, people that at my work do not understand that I take a week off from work to go 5 miles down the road and freeze your what off.
Well, not the last.
Not the last couple times. We've been lucky. So
As a photographer, I love shooting the event. It's the best event I'll shoot all year. And it's so labor intensive as a photographer because you literally, I'll leave the track, I'll race home at 1,000,000 miles an hour to get stuff posted from that day.
Yeah.
Cause
and you're back at it 8:00 in the morning the
Amen.
next day.
And I love every minute of it.
You are. The next day.
We got Joe Trenca on the phone.
Cool. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Good, good. Hey, Joe, we had to do a little switch there, so thanks for getting ready for us. But Joe Trenca, ESS Rookie of the Year last year, 16 years old, and really coming to his own this year. He's top 15 in points. Actually, I think, what are you, Joe? 13th now in points, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
13th.
So, Joey, you just did a very unique deal yesterday. You were in the city streets of Syracuse doing a bunch of TV spots for the Rolling Wheels race. How did that go?
Yeah, it was actually very cool. I mean, it was a very neat opportunity. It was good publicity for the Speed Weeks, Rolling Wheels, and for me myself. So it was a little different. I was nervous at first, but it was fun.
Cool. Now, if people don't know who Joe Trenca is, he came from the quarter midgets. He is 16 years old, but his grandfather is Ron Mucci, who has owned Super Modifieds, ISMA Super Modifieds, USEC Silver Crown cars. You name it, he's on, and he's had every driver you can imagine behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But now Ron is dedicating the his time and all his money and resources to Joe, and then Joe's doing a really good job. But it's a heck of a family atmosphere, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all together. I got to thank my grandpa most off, but all the sponsors that come on board, Schoenfeld Headers is our biggest one this year, Fast Axle, Steals It, National Parts Peddler, and Dealer Specialties. But just the whole family. My brothers missed their quarter midget races to come out and watch me and help me at the shop. So, and my dad taking time off of work. This is a family-run team, which when we do good, we do good as a family. When we do bad, we do bad as a family. So that's what I really like about racing with my family.
We appreciate you being at all the ESS shows, and they haven't missed a show since they've been with us, which has been really good. But Saturday night, Joe, you were kind of crewing for somebody on Saturday. You like to tell everybody who it was?
Yeah, that was my girlfriend, Kelly Eben. That was her second time in the 305 sprint cars, and she tested at Paradise, and I only seen the video. I wasn't able to attend, but she looked from the video, did really good, and she went out Saturday night, and she did really, really good. I was very amazed at how good she did. She kept the car straight,
did, yeah,
passing guys, and did really, really good. Just looked like her father out there.
And she beat her dad.
That's scary.
And she beat her dad.
I heard Chuck was running around the top chasing Charlie, and all of a sudden, whoop, over the berm he goes.
Yeah, I went over back to Chuck and said, power steering belt blew? He goes, yeah, I left pieces on the track. But Kelly did very well, and Joe was out there for support and helping out and giving her pointers because, the 360s are a little different than the 305s. But, Joe, we got something coming up. You're out of school, so you have plenty of time to get ready, but we got 7 races in 9 nights. I see you got your second car ready, so you looking forward to this stretch?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough week for teams, but it's definitely going to be a fun week. We got both cars ready for this week. We're going to use the spare one, actually, to start off with at Rolling Wheels. We're just going to keep cycling the cars through, but it's a very unique thing. I don't think ESS has really ever had that many races crammed into that few nights, so it'd definitely be cool. But, it's going to be awesome for the fans because if you live in central New York, it's real close. All the tracks are close. A lot of racing. You're going to have a lot of car counts, and the best drivers around here. So, what more can you ask for?
If the fans don't know, we go to Merrittville and Humberstone this weekend out in Niagara Frontier for 2 shows. Looking forward to that. Our first time at Humberstone since '89, believe it or not, '89. And then that
was back when it was Gasport, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually. It's back when I think Ronnie Duplantis had the track back then. So that's aging ourselves right there. And then we got what's called the SUNY Canton Central New York Speed Week. We're at Rolling Wheels, Brewerton, Can-Am, Fulton, and then Utica Rome. So 5 nights in a row. We're going to give it a shot. We got a little taste last year. We did 5 shows in 7 nights, I think. So we're going to give it a shot. But I know teams like Joey and all the local teams, and we got teams coming up from PA and everything, and looking forward to it. So, Joe, has it been that tough in the shop, or are you pretty much set, or you still got a little bit of work to go?
We're pretty set. We got the primary car set for this weekend, so we're just getting the other car set up for Rolling Wheels and stuff like that. It's been a little bit tough. It's going to be tough this week because my dad's hard for him to get time off of work, so me and my brothers would get our wash on every single day. So we'll definitely be washing a lot and doing a lot of maintenance. But hey, if you're doing good and stuff like that and you're having fun, it's really not that bad.
The perks to be the superstar driver, huh? So, Joe, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, we had something happen a couple weeks ago down at Bridgeport, and you said you are a family operation, and with you being a teenager, I kind of want to get your thoughts. We had the tragedy of Jason Leffler recently, and it's hit home, and it's been the second death we've had in a couple weeks in sprint cars. But at the dinner table, does that conversation come up, or has it come up? Sprint car can be a dangerous sport, but, safety has come a long ways. But what has the conversation been in the Mucci household since, Leffler's tragedy?
Well, it hasn't really came up at the dinner table. More with my dad and my grandpa, like down at the shop. My grandpa knew him actually very well from the USAC days.
Oh, really?
And I knew of him. I'd always seen him. He'd always stop over to the trailer and say hi when we were racing and stuff. But the next morning, I received a text message, actually 5 minutes apart from my dad and my grandpa, saying that, hey, if this really bothers you that much, that we don't have to race. It's totally fine. We don't pressure you into this and stuff like that, which really made me feel comforting.
Oh, really?
But,
okay.
I know that my grandpa and my dad are not going to put me in a dangerous race car.
Yeah.
I trust them 100%. So I know that, I mean, even though it was a freak accident, I know my cars are safe. So it's definitely been a little bit of a sore subject, and especially my grandpa because he knew him so well.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I trust our cars, and we got pretty safe race cars. I mean, we run the steel stops on the front and the rear, you know, just for, now we're not even worried about the weight, just for safety, you know what I mean? We run the bars that run through to hold all the torsion bars on and stuff like that. So we made a little bit of improvements, but, I mean, besides that, cars are pretty safe, and, I mean, you just got to kind of put out your head and go out there and race.
Is caliber of safety really anything that's at issue with Jason Leffler's incident, or is it just like, you know, you alluded to it a second ago? You said it was a freak accident. It's just one of those things. Like you look at Will Power's accident at the IRL race. That had positively nothing to do with safety. There wasn't much you were going to do that was going to make the outcome of that any different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not 100% sure on what actually happened 100%. I mean, it's tough to say. I don't think a lot of people know, unless you were there or you're one of the crew guys. But I mean, the sprint cars are very dangerous animal. You can get hurt any of the night in the week racing them, just by freak stuff like that. But I heard there was some safety precautions that he maybe could have took with his seat and stuff like that. I mean, I know he was a USAC guy, and they used to run the cage nets instead of the full containment seats. I heard he didn't have a full containment seat and didn't even have a cage net in. Oh, that could have been it. And they might have been going for weight on the front end when the right front broke, is what I heard too. So, I mean, maybe the car wasn't, I mean, I'm sure it was a good car, but maybe it didn't have the safest equipment on it. I'm sure it was a safe car, but, you know, maybe it didn't have the steel stops that don't usually break like the aluminum ones. So it was a freak accident. I mean, it doesn't happen a ton, so which we're glad it doesn't.
I know a lot of sprint car drivers are using the Hans devices and stuff like that, but you know there's drivers even in ESS that said they just don't want to wear them because they can't move their head around, and they think that's actually more dangerous than having that on. Joe, you run the Hans, don't you?
I actually run the Safety Solutions, the hybrid.
Okay.
I got hooked up with them a while ago when I got the LaJoy C. So we were going to go with the Hans, but we just decided to go with the hybrid, but it's the same principle.
Do you feel comfortable with it on? Has it hindered your, moving your head around, or would you rather have it, Han, and not moving the head around is just a small consolation?
I mean, when I take it off, it definitely feels better. But for purposes like what happened to Jason, and I mean, you hit the wall just right, you can mess your neck up, you can mess a lot of things up by just hitting it right with your head. So, I mean, yeah, sometimes your belt's wrench on and it hurts your shoulders, stuff like that. But I'd much rather be safe than not be safe.
Of the drivers that are arguing back against the Hans device, how many of them are Joe's age versus being people that have been around for a long time?
Well, that's a lot of it. You know what's funny was Ricky Wilson. I was actually we had a show at Black
He's been
Rock
running cars
forever.
Yeah,
he did not want to put a Hans on, and actually the first night or the second night he ever put a Hans on, he flew off turn 3 at Black Rock and went through the pond and everything else.
Yep.
And he came back and says, "You know what? I didn't feel a thing because it just kept my head controlled."
Right.
And he goes, I hit stuff hard. I hit woods, hit water. And he said, I didn't feel anything. He's wore one ever since. So I guess it's just one of those things where you got to wear it once.
Yep.
But still, you got people out there. There's drivers don't have the full containment seats because you got the headrests that come around here, and it does obstruct your viewing, and it just makes them feel so uncomfortable that if it's going to hinder their racing, they're willing to take the chance. So it could be, it could be part of it.
And it seems like in a family like the Trenca, the Mucci family, safety isn't just lip service. I mean, your grandpa's been around for a lot of years. He's seen, many of the conceivable accidents that can happen in these open wheel cars that he's done. Dean mentioned it, the super modifieds, the Silver Crowns. He's seen every conceivable accident that you can have. So safety was probably something that you guys have done all along to make sure your cars are right well before the Leffler incident ever took place.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to spend a little bit more time on adjusting my belts, making sure they're hooked up, making sure they're going over my shoulders right, making sure the seat's always tight, putting stuff on the bolts so they don't come unloose, and just stuff like that. I mean, we definitely go through the car very thoroughly, but we check the seat and stuff like that could come loose and could really, really hurt you a lot more thoroughly. And we do that pretty much every week. And I mean, I check my hybrid in my helmet to make sure the hookups are on it right and they're tight. It's a very big part of the racing. I mean, you want to stay safe. You want to be able to get out of the car at the end of the night and go to the next race and go home with your family and stuff like that.
Joe, being 16 years old and in a sprint car and running with ESS, which is one of the larger 360 groups, but you are just 16. What are the goals? Is it All-Stars? Is it Outlaws? Is it NASCAR? Do you want to go to asphalt, or do you just want to stay local and be happy? What are your goals?
I mean, growing up, the goal was always to go NASCAR, but I mean that's a very tough field to get into. There's very few drivers who make it, but I mean I think sometimes now the dirt. People coming from dirt are slowing down a little bit. You see a lot of the asphalt guys driving the late models down in North Carolina and stuff like that are moving up. So, I mean, I would love to race with the World of Outlaws. That's probably pretty much the ultimate goal now, to race for them. I mean, the full tour and do it for a while. I mean, that is the goal. But, I mean, if that never worked out, I just like racing local, too. I mean, the goal this year, honestly, is to start making shows. I mean, which we have been. We've been running consistently in the top 15. So, I mean, just little goals at a time, and hopefully we'll achieve the big one.
Joey, last year had to use or had the opportunity to use some provisionals, and they turned them down, waiting for tracks close to home. And there were some tracks that were tough for Joe, but this year qualified for every A main so far. And I tell you, I think top 10 in points is definite. And I'll tell you, if the situation's right, we could see Joey in Victory Lane this year. He's really done a great job with us.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I get frustrated sometimes running top 15, and we want to be running top 10, top 5, but everyone keeps saying you're young, you're learning. So we'll get there. We're working on our setups. I'm working on my driving, so we'll be up there.
Yeah, 16 years old. He's got what, Jay? About 5-6 good years left, you think?
I love talking to this kid at the racetrack. You know what I mean? He's a super bright kid, great kid to have around the track, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next chapter. I'm in no rush to have him grow old either, by the way.
Neither am I, because I can use all the cars I can get.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, this is a guy I don't want to see him move on too quick. I want to see this kid develop over the next bunch of years. Great kid and a great nickname too, by the way. Talk about the throwback nickname. It harkens back to cars your grandpa used to own back in the day. Salt City Outlaw.
Yes.
I dig it so much, man.
Thank you.
Says it right on his new T-shirts too. So
ooh,
really, yeah.
Where can people buy those, Joey?
Joey's got some T-shirts.
You gonna have some available at the big sprint week we got coming up?
Yeah, we got them in the ESS merchandise trailer, and we got them at the hauler. So,
oh yeah.
You want to stop out to the ESS trailer or our trailer? We greatly appreciate it. We got Rookie of the Year shirts and hoodies, and regular just Joe Trenca shirts too and hoodies.
Joey went to ASI, who does the ESS shirts, and they did a great job. We really like ASI. They do an awesome job. Joe, before we go, I know you thanked a lot of people early on and some sponsors, but want to keep?
Well, I just had one question.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Go ahead. Yeah.
He wants you to save him an extra small, so make sure you keep an extra small for Chris Marquardt.
There you go.
No,
I'm not going there.
Hey, thanks for coming again. By the way,
he's my ride, so you can't kick him out yet.
No,
I'll wait in the parking lot.
We actually had people on the live chat who were paying attention on
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Gatorade Jay over there. Ken wanted to know what the biggest difference this year from last year has been, and what changes you've made to improve on things.
Last year was a big learning curve coming from the micro sprints up to the sprint cars. I mean, big horsepower difference, but we run some of the same tracks. So I'd say the biggest difference between last year and this year was the speed and how we made the car handle. I mean, last year, yeah, sometimes we were fast, but we weren't. You know what I mean? It's just a new year. The Rookie of the Year is just very hard in the sprint cars if you've never raced something with that much horsepower, close to that much horsepower. So, I mean, the big difference is at throwing it in the corner wide open has been the biggest thing this year for me. It's something that once you do it, it's easier to do, but everything leading up to that is very hard. So I'd say that's about the biggest difference.
Mike texted me. He wonders if you're going for wins or going for championships.
Mallet?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
That's for Ken. That's actually for Ken. Don't answer that. That's a terrible question.
Joe, if Kelly moves up to 360, say in the next couple of years, are we going to have a little, a Danica and a little rivalry going on? You think a little Danica Stenhouse? What do you think?
I don't know. I was worried when he said, "Well, what if I get in my dad's car?" I was like, "Whoa, well, I don't want her beating me already." I mean, she she did very, very good. So, I mean, if she got into a 360, no doubt in my mind she would do good. And maybe not beat me, but, hey, you never know. She's a great little driver.
I tell you, I was impressed, for her first time in 305s, because coming from a 270 micro, that's a big step. And she held her own. She actually passed cars out there. And, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I've been around for a long time, and little things amaze me. And she really amazed me how smooth she was. And like Joe says, she was very smooth. And I tell you what, we probably should get her on the show here because she would be a great interview, too.
We haven't had Chuck on in a while either.
Yeah, and Kelly loves doing media and everything else. And,
how old is Kelly now?
How old's Kelly, Joe?
I think she's 18.
And you're?
60.
Good boy.
Attaboy. God bless him.
Walked right into that one, Joey, did you? Yeah. She goes to SUNY Canton.
Wow.
Freshman year at SUNY Canton.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, SUNY Canton's a little bit of a sponsor with the Hebing Racing, and it works out great.
Do you know how old that makes you feel? Oh, my God.
You didn't graduate college in 86 like I did.
Good Lordy.
No, but I do have a little frame of reference that my brother was born in 86.
There we go.
There you go.
Joe, you weren't even thought of in 86, were you?
Oh.
Son of a gun. All right, but nice talking to you, kid.
We got Lyle said he'll be all set at 7:45 at home, so we'd be good.
Nice.
Joe, we always, as Mallet always says, we like to have you, take the mic and talk about who you want to thank. You thanked a bunch of people earlier, but again, before you go, the stage is yours, and thank everyone that you want, please.
Yeah, as a family racing, we got a lot of people to thank. I mean, first and foremost, my family who gives me opportunity. I mean, my mom for always packing us food on the trip. But our new crew guys, we got a new guy named Danny Wiegand, Sarge, who's been there for 2 years, great guy.
Sarge is a trip.
Love Sarge.
Sarge is a trip.
Yeah. And we got a new crew chief, Gordy Button. So I got to thank him. He's been really helping us out with setup.
Okay, around 360.
And my girlfriend, I mean, she's always running around for me at the races. Kelly does a great job. And all my sponsors, National Parts Peddler, Schoenfeld Headers, Seals at Fast Axle. Eric's hooking us up with some really trick axles for the sprint cars. They're really cool. I mean, if you guys haven't even heard of him or seen him, I definitely check out his website or contact him out.
Yeah, they gave one out at the banquet, too.
And Dealer Specialties, I actually work for him, and he's buying all my tear-offs this year. I mean, it's not a lot, but that's the little things and the little sponsors that help out sometimes the biggest. So,
sure enough.
I mean, it's a lot of people to thank.
Joey, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks to getting on early for us, and thanks for what you did yesterday for Rolling Wheels Raceway and Speed Week and ESS. And hopefully the weather will be on our side, and we'll see you Saturday in Canada.
Yeah, no problem. I thank you guys. I appreciate it.
No problem, Joey. Thank you.
Thanks, Salt City Outlaw.
Yes.
Dig that.
I'll tell you what, for 16
Lil
years
Cobra,
old.
one of our live viewers, Lil Cobra.
Yep,
Wonder if you can guess who that is.
That's Kelly.
Big fan.
I would try like hell to beat him.
Yes, she will. I tell you, yes, she will.
She's got genetics on her side. I'll give her that much, man. It's in her blood.
You're talking about racing, of course.
Yeah.
Amen.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see her in a 360 next year sometimes. I mean, I know, I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but the natural talent is there. It's definitely there. And being around racing as much as she is, she knows what she's doing out on the racetrack because she's watched thousands and thousands of laps.
Yep.
Now, as she said during the interview, I'm not so sure if I mirror my dad because he's kind of crazy out there, but, that might be a good thing. But she looked really good. I mean, a few of us, even I put in my 2 cents. I've watched a lot of racing, but I said move up a little bit on the straightaways, let your car drift out a little bit. She did right in the A main, and it just made her corner speed that much more, and she literally passed 2 or 3 cars in that A main, and we're talking people that have already run 8 to 10 shows at Canandaigua this year.
Yep.
And that was her first time.
Yeah.
And the track was slick, so slick track is tough.
Yeah.
But she did a great show, and we're looking forward to hopefully having her down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So.
There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind the way she's being brought along. And Joe is progressing, every race it seems like.
Yeah, the future's bright. Even with Dave Axton and Vinny Vitale coming in this year, there's always an influx of nice people. And, the Rookie of the Year last year was between Enty and Gerard and Joe.
Yeah.
And they went neck and neck right down to the year. Because we have 2 awards with ESS. We have what's called an Outstanding Newcomer Award, which we give to drivers that actually have previous experience in racing, which last year was between Sammy Reeks and Paul Kenny.
Yep.
If we didn't have that award and we just had one Rookie of the Year award, the true rookies would never win the award because they're not going to do as well. Paul Kenny finished 5th in his first year of ESS. It's amazing with the talent that we have. What's that tell you? So we have the Outstanding Newcomer Award, which actually is probably a little bit more prestigious of award because you're a driver coming in with a lot of talent and winning that award. So we like having those two awards.
The future looks awesome with the Empire Super Sprints. Look at the winners we've had this year. You know, the Kevin Wards of the world, and before
Dylan Swearnick getting his first win, and there's going to be a lot more, and who knows who's going to win in Speed Week.
It's friggin' wicked.
So we have Lyle, huh, Chris? Lyle, Dean Reynolds here. How you doing?
Great, Dean. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you had a successful EVA destruction. I saw a YouTube video, and the crowd looked packed. How'd it go?
It was absolutely insane. It was standing room only. They were 3 deep along the front stretch fence.
Nice.
And it was a great event. People were going nuts, and the action's just nonstop. It's a big undertaking because it's a tremendous amount of cleanup, but
I can imagine.
Big bolster for the Speedway is the bottom line.
Now, Lyle is been Howie's right-hand man at Lebanon Valley for many years, and I've known Lyle for years, back in the Utica Rome days and all that stuff. But then they decided to put some dirt on Albany-Saratoga, and they said, Lyle, go ahead and be the promoter there also. But you also work on the track there. How many hours of sleep do you get a week, my friend?
This week there hasn't been much. It's nonstop. Like tonight it'll be probably around 11 o'clock. I'll shut down, but you got to do what you got to do, and between both tracks, it's a lot of work. But there's nothing more exciting than having a full crowd, having a good race. It's just, I guess that's what really keeps me trucking.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Is it easier to get marketing packages and partnerships and stuff like that when you're able to bring two different racetracks to the table and put packages together that make it a little bit more enticing?
In some sense it is, but a lot of the times what I've noticed is that certain businesses, I don't know whether it's just because of location, they're attracted to one of the tracks, and other businesses are attracted to the other track. We do have some that do sponsor both facilities, but for the most part, they're their own entity, and we're fortunate that we've got such a great family of sponsors and people who support us. So it does have its advantages, but you don't see it as much as you would think you would see it.
Lyle, we know the backbone of every racetrack is the weekly shows, and Lebanon Valley has been widely known as probably one of the most successful weekly shows around, and now Malta's back on the map, and the crowds have been awesome there as well. But Howie and you still like to do the EVA destructions. You bring the monster trucks in for, 4 nights in a row? And, I'd like to say we're hopefully an added attraction as well, the Outlaws, and you do Mr. Track USA, Mr. Dirt Track USA, and Brett's got the big show at Malta. Is that a tough juggling to keep the weekly shows going strong, but yet bring in specials as well and try to keep the stands full?
Well, what we try to do is, we have some accounts with some of the TV stations and the radio stations. So what we do is we target certain events, but we also are constantly plugging, the fact that we have affordable entertainment, great food at a reasonable price, and it does become a bit overwhelming, in July, because we go from monster trucks to the Friday night, Saturday night, World of Outlaws, and it is a juggling act, and you don't want to mislead or confuse people. So it's a pretty intense format of what we do and how we do it. But you do have to concentrate on your weekly program, because that's the backbone, to surviving, because you can only count so much on these bigger events.
Now, in the weekly shows, when ESS came in, we were part of their weekly show, and just I want to let the fans know what they do at Lebanon Valley. Your normal admission's what, 10 or 11 to get in for a regular show? Wow.
$10.
$10
for adults. Kids under 12 or $2.
Now ESS comes in, and we have a decent purse that we require because we want to make sure we get enough cars and stuff like that. You know how much they charge for the grandstands to get in for us?
11.
12. $12. The pits were still 15 and 20. Lyle, do you think that is maybe what racetracks should maybe look at more than raising pit gates and getting more classes in the back gate, maybe going the opposite way? Because it seems to work for you where other tracks where attendance goes down, pit fees are $30, $35. They have 8 or 9 classes in the back gate. But you guys seem to go the opposite way, and it's worked well. What's your thoughts and theories on that, Lyle?
My personal opinion is that racetrack operators need to work harder at trying to be innovative and more proactive in trying to create interest from the fan point. Because if you want to be a back gate driven speedway, that's the easiest thing to do. And the last thing in the world we want to do is every one of our competitors spends, a fair amount of money in this sport. And, if we can at least keep it at a reasonable cost, we feel, at least we're trying to help them in some way, shape, or form. But I think it's imperative that people concentrate on, getting your front gate up because everybody wants to race in front of a crowd. Mm-hmm. And, that's why my wheels are always turning, trying to figure out what can we do, what angle can we go at to try to, promote some interest with the fans.
And I dig that. I like some of the rivalries you guys are playing up down there at your tracks too. And now with the addition of Pete Britton coming in, that adds yet another element to what will interest the crowd.
Scalata,
yeah. I mean, I think I'm a big rivalry guy. For every good guy, there needs to be an equal and opposite bad guy, and I dig that, even if it's only a matter of perception and playing that up.
I love that NASCAR commercial with everybody going back and forth every.
I don't pay attention to any of that crap.
You know what was amazing was like Friday night, 7/1000ths of a second, Peter Britton beat Donnie Ronca at the line. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of our Malta fans, they don't know who Peter Britton is, but he did. Just ran an unbelievable race, and I guarantee he got some fans out of that. People were going nuts because it was just a truly amazing race.
That's good.
That's important. Everything starts with the circle, is the way I look at it. And if you've got good racing, you've got something, that's a big building block to build off of, and that's what we're trying to do.
And you guys build your program around good racing and good racers, and your marketing that way. And I've always been the type of guy to buy into that stuff. If you've got a good product out there, you know what I mean, that's worth watching.
And they like showcasing it.
Amen to that. Yeah. Amen to that.
Lyle, I know you're. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here because you're a behind scenes guy, and I know you don't like to be out front, which is cool. I'm kind of the same way. But running 2 racetracks, give us what your schedule is from Monday to Sunday. I like to hear it because I think there's a lot of people out there that really do not know what goes on behind the scenes to make one racetrack, let alone 2 racetracks, run every week. What is your schedule every day? What do you do? Start from Monday.
Well, in reality, my week starts on Sunday.
Okay.
Because we race Friday and Saturday. So Sunday, first thing you do is you look at the weather, because ultimately the weather controls what you're going to do.
So true.
But every day there's unexpected things that happen. It's really difficult. All I can really tell you is we hop back and forth between both tracks, and everything's contingent on what broke down, what problems need to be addressed, signage. It's hard to say, but the one key is your life revolves around the weather. Mm-hmm. And if you can't get on a racetrack till 6:30 at night, that's when you get on it. Mm-hmm. And the average day starts around 6:37, and ends around 10:30 at night.
Yeah. It's just amazing
You
schedule.
go 7 days a week until the season's over.
And then the season,
and in all honesty,
doesn't end.
Have a rain out, it's actually more work.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because even simple things like the insurances have to carry over, and you got food delivered and all stuff like that? Is it? It's stuff like that people don't think of.
You know, there's so much, and I know you've seen a lot of it, Dean. But there's so much behind the scenes that people don't even realize what you have to deal with. You know, just to make an event go off, and you know, preparing the racetrack's just one little part of it, but. Especially what we're trying to do, because we're trying to be as professional as we can be. You know, it's just the phone calls and emails. That's a job in its own.
And actually, Facebook. I've had Lyle Facebook message me at 12:30 in the morning. Yeah, and we've gone back and forth. You know, he'll say, "What do you think of this?" He has an idea, or you know, we'll go back and forth. And you're right, though, the gears just never stop. You know, just never stop.
My fiance Marcy says that. She goes, you know, sometimes your mind just never stops. And, you know, you might wake up at 1 in the morning and think of an idea, you know, or maybe you scratch an idea on a napkin after a couple beers. You know, whatever it takes. But I think the important thing is you got to have your heart into it, because if you don't have your heart into it,
you might as well not even start. Yeah.
Never going to do as good of a job as you can. And I know that every week, I mean, I've got some really great people that, you know, that work for me. Everybody gives 100%, and that's all you can ask.
That's good. And then, you know, you're still a young pup yet, right? You still got a few years to go.
A few years.
How's your girlfriend like her hoodie, by the way?
Loves it.
Cool. You know, Lyle, I tell you what I love about Lyle. After the long show at Lebanon Valley, you know, it's a busy show and everything, comes down off the tower. First of all, he starts in a water truck, ends the show at the tower, comes back down. He remembers Dean. He hands me a Coors Light.
Nice.
Absolutely.
And I will tell you that we're definitely looking forward to next year doing the ESS at Lebanon. Like I mentioned to you, we'll have to, you know, square down a date on that.
Yeah, because schedule's going to change a little bit.
Definitely looking forward to Albany-Saratoga
Absolutely.
on August 2nd.
August 2nd, Albany-Saratoga. We're going to first time back at Albany-Saratoga and since I think it's 2008 or 2007.
That is an awesome racetrack for sprint cars.
And
sprint cars are awesome.
Lyle, have you seen that widening that track over the winter? Has that really helped?
That's helped out, you know, a tremendous amount. The racing's, you know, they're going around there. Some instances Friday, they're 3 wide, 4 wide. You know, naturally everything, you know, changes, but the racing's been really good. You know, and cars are coming from the back of the pack, and I know the ESS will put on a great show.
Probably put you on the spot again, but Albany-Saratoga is, you know, there's always rumors, and of course that is land that's, you know, worth a lot of high value, and you guys are paying a lot to lease that out every week and everything. But how's the future look? You think you got a good future there, Lyle?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely locked in for next year.
Good.
So, you know, if things go right, you know, who knows what will happen down the road, but as long as it's a racetrack, we'll run it, and, you know, Bruce has been excellent to work with.
Good.
So we've got a very good relationship, and, you know, it's a little difficult because it's Friday night, and then you bounce right into Saturday night. But, you know, we're happy that we've got it, and I think things are, you know, really looking positive, so hopefully down the road we'll keep, you know, going at, you know, as we are. Or if the opportunity presents itself and we can purchase it, then we'll look into that.
Oh, good. Well, let's hope that comes because, you know, they're getting 30 modifieds a week there, and between the two sportsman classes, you're what, over 50 between the two classes put together, Lyle?
Between 50 and 60.
Amen. Amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
And the support class is even down lower. Just in car. I asked Lyle where's he going to put us when we come out there on that Friday. So we might be in the woods or the old go kart track off turn 2. But you know, I'm sure he'll put us somewheres.
We're definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be one of our biggest events of the season there. So hopefully, the weather cooperates, and
yes.
We've already had people that are asking when the sprint cars are coming.
No, we can't wait. Before we let you go, Lyle, because I know you're busy and you said you're going to be up to 11 o'clock, behind the scenes guy, who do you want to thank? There's got to be some people who always supported you, even down throughout the years. Who would you want to thank, Lyle?
I really got to thank my fiance, Marcy, my family. There's certain people like Pete Scully, Jim Shackett, Ronnie Mensing, people that are, somewhat behind the scenes who go the extra mile when you ask them to do that. The Friesen family,
mm-hmm.
and especially, C.J. Richards,
mm-hmm.
Alex Friesen. He was a big part of my life, and Howard Commander,
yeah.
Of course.
Well, you've worked for some good people, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have the knowledge of some of the best known promoters, and I think that has helped in what I'm trying to accomplish.
No, Lyle, we thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us, and I hope the people enjoyed what goes behind the scene of one racetrack, let alone two racetracks, and there's a lot of successful tracks. Jeremy Corcoran at Canandaigua, what Barb Clark and John Tiff do at Utica Rome, but that's what it takes to make these tracks. You don't open up the gates and they come. It doesn't work anymore, and now you see what Lyle does, and and we thank you by going on the show. This is just a little bit of marketing itself. And I
appreciate the opportunity. I'd just like to point out or mention that, we're naturally have a big fireworks show tomorrow night, but Tuesday, July 9th is Brett Hearn's big show.
Big show, yeah.
Which is, a series race, along with a series race for the Pro Stocks. And like I said, we got the World of Outlaws coming in with Tony Stewart,
mm-hmm.
July 21st at Lebanon Valley, and then we're back with ESS at Malta on August 2nd, and then Mr. Dirt at Lebanon Valley. So got a lot of things cooking, and we'd love for people to come out and see what we're doing.
My first ever visit to Lebanon Valley is 1980. Mercer Dirt Track USA. Win Slavin won it.
No
that was my
kid.
first visit to Lebanon Valley, believe it or not. So that race has a lot of history. Lyle, thanks so much, and we'll let you get back to hopefully maybe even cracking open a can of beer, but we appreciate it.
Good luck, Lyle.
Dean, Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
That's interesting because Lyle's been around for years.
Oh, yeah.
And I've known him for years, but if you see him on a Saturday night at Lebanon Valley, it's just amazing because he's on the Packer truck because he does prepare the track, and then he's running around making sure the concessions are good and stuff, and then he goes up top and he's got a radio to make sure the show goes smoothly. But they got good people there, and he also gets the purse for us. And it's just, when he comes down, you can tell that it's, when the show's over and it's a good, successful show,
yep.
He wants a beer and just say, hey, that's a good night. And, let's wake up Sunday morning and get busy again. But, Lebanon Valley is a unique place. It's just with the emissions and the food prices,
yeah.
The way they do everything out there, it's just a little bit different than what everyone else does. And it works. It just always worked, and it's worked for years. I remember going to Lebanon Valley, and my highlight was get those 50-cent French fries. I can remember that. I go because when I was 18 years old, I had my own car and went to the races with $10. And to get in was $8. I had $2 left. 50-cent French fries. You get 4 orders.
Heck yeah.
That was Lebanon Valley. So.
He mentioned Bruce, and it reminded me of, so it would have been 2004 maybe. I was at Albany-Saratoga, and this was in the midst of a stretch where we were just on the road every night, and it was hot and muggy and just one of those nasty hot days. And we had a tour race there, and I was leaning against. At that point, there was something on the infield. I don't remember what it was. There was something on the infield, and I was leaning against it with my arms crossed. And during hot laps, and I ended up doing one of those where you kind of nod off, right? Bruce was right there. He took a picture of it, and he had it to Joe Patrick the next day. Nothing about the story, nothing about it during hot laps. And it just said, "This is why I had to give a press pass to this guy," or something to that effect.
Sounds like Bruce.
And I'm like, wow. Yep. never was.
With Bruce,
I don't think I was ever really allowed to go back.
With Bruce, you expect the unexpected. And actually, with CJ, CJ's passed on now, of course, but he was the same way. We got one story. We were at Devil's Bowl, and we're getting ready to come out for our A main. And, we get cars coming out of turn one because that's where the pit entrance was, and we get about 4 or 5 lined up, and we actually start pushing off a few cars. We got a couple cars going around, and, back then we didn't know what a stagger start was, so we get 2 or 3 cars pushed off at a time. Lo and behold, here comes a grader out in the middle of the track, and it's CJ. And CJ was having a beverage.
Oh.
Why he brought the grader out. And it was one of the most unique stories. Dick Carberry had to get up and get into that grader and say, "What are you doing? We're ready to go." And CJ was like, "Oh, I didn't know." So he got right back off the track and we pushed off the A main and keep on going. But that, but it's just some unique stories like that make our tour a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they sold Devil's Bowl. Mike Bruno's got that now, and it's asphalt. But that was a good little circuit, and they had Airborne Park there for a while too, the CVRA circuit. And we ran all 3 tracks, and they had a good thing going. But it's good to see Albany-Saratoga back, though. I mean, that track's got a lot of history. It's good to see it back.
Ronnie Johnson told me right to my face one time. I was down there for a Patriot show. I think it was probably 2008, and they had like a little. It was only like a select group of modified drivers. And afterwards, he came off, and I said, "It looked like you were having fun out there." And he's like, "Jay, this is the best place for modified racing in the country. There's no other place even close." I said, "Maybe Brewerton." He's like, "Nowhere's even close. Albany-Saratoga is the best place for modified racing."
It's perfectly shaped. It's a 1/3 mile, perfectly shaped. The turns are sweeping. The modifieds are on the gas. We'll probably almost flat-footed around that place. That's Albany-Saratoga. For the Central New York fans, maybe they've never been there, you definitely want to go out for Brett Hearn's big show. You're going to get to see half the Canandaigua field's going to be there anyways.
Yeah.
So, as John would say, field fillers, but they'll probably win. But,
wow.
Yeah. So maybe Britain will win for Bombas, and then Bombas can sign a shirt or something like
Amen
that.
But, that is great stuff.
But it is a great place to go to. And there's a lot of great tracks, a lot of great tracks out there. But fans in Central New York area have never been there. Go for Brett Hearn's big show. You'll enjoy it. Or come to our show at ESS on a Friday. If you're not doing anything, you'll enjoy yourself.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We got rained out last year, and it was one of my most look forward to shows because we haven't been back. I think it was 2007 is the last time we ran there, and it's always been a good sprint car track. Always been. And hopefully this year the weather will be on our side. So, but what do you got, Mr. Marquardt?
I'm just thinking.
You're over there. Look like you're thinking.
Something's bouncing around in that head.
A little. I mean, I was thinking about. There's a couple things that I'm remembering now that I wanted to ask Lyle, but I.
Yeah.
Just hadn't thought about it. I was just getting sucked into his conversation, listening to him talking about the schedule.
I loved listening to him.
It
He was awesome. Yeah.
And the package that the TV advertisements have now that have Albany, Saratoga, Lebanon Valley, and Orange County.
That you see in Syracuse all the time. Is it out here too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's every show on Speed. I'll see 3 or 4 of those commercials.
Yep. Right. Exactly. And
professionally done.
Yeah. They look great.
Yeah.
I mean, they look great. And I'm wondering, 1, where'd they have it done?
Yeah.
And 2, how does that dynamic work? I mean, basically, you've got an advertisement on the same thing for tracks that are competing on the same night. I mean, they've always had a long-time relationship.
Yeah.
They've always had good – all those tracks have had pretty good working relationships. But it's still interesting to see, you got Saturday night, you got 2 choices.
I know knowing Lyle, he probably got those commercials because he probably worked out a good package where they'll throw Central New York in on that package because they probably bought so many spots.
No. I don't care about where they run. That's completely beside the point. Why is Albany-Saratoga or why is Lebanon Valley and Orange County on the same advertisement if they're both running on the same night?
Well, Howie has a stake in Orange County.
Well,
you forgot. Yeah, but
yep.
No. But you know what? They're far enough apart. They're 2 hours apart.
Different drawing market.
It's different drawing markets, anyways. Yeah. And it's still smart, I mean, you still want to showcase all your tracks.
More tracks, like Black Rock and Woodhull used to have something kind of like that. It was never quite so out in the open about having that sort of driver exchange program. Or Fulton and Brewerton and Utica Rome or Canandaigua and Weedsport. You always had those tracks that kind of work together, but and you see that obviously with Malta and Lebanon. But then you got Orange County over here, and there's the stake and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure if Howie wasn't involved, you wouldn't see Orange County on that commercial.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. So, but definitely different markets. And quite frankly, probably that commercial is more important for Orange County than it is for Lebanon Valley. Because Orange County's crowds sometimes are a little light on Saturday nights. I see them. They're doing okay, but, back when I went in the late 70s, early 80s where you had to get there 3 hours before the start time just to get your seat reserved.
Right.
Those days are gone with every racetrack. But,
Sure.
But I still have a love for Orange County because that's where I grew up. I mean, my first race I was 6 months old. My dad threw me in the baby seat in the driving section in the back, and if I cried myself to sleep or didn't cry myself to sleep, gave me a thimbleful of beer to knock me right out, so I can sit on the hood to watch races. And that's where I started. And I can remember when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I was old enough to go over to the covered grandstand. Oh my God, was that the loudest thing I think I ever heard in my life? But you know what? I enjoyed the heck out of it, and we stayed there.
Yeah.
We had the same seats in that covered grandstand until 1984 when I went to college at Morrisville.
Man.
Same seat. It's actually row 6 seat. I think 2 in the green section. It was in the green section. And Mom Goranson sat right behind us. We had like 8 of us every year or every week that sat there. But, that was back in the day where we talked about this with youth and tracks and attendance. Back in the day when the checkered flag fell on Saturday night, the next thing I wanted to think about was when we're going back to Orange County on Saturday night. And it's so much different this day and age. And that's, part of the reason why tracks, like Lyle says, bring in monster trucks. Bring in an EVA Destruction. It's a way to get some income. Your demo derbies. That's the way to get some income.
Sure.
For the racetracks. It's something different.
Oh,
I tell you what, demo derbies at some of these fairgrounds. I seen these crowds.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. You're talking. Where do you put the people?
If they didn't have value, they'd stop doing them.
Yeah.
There's a value to those types of events, and it's something else to draw a different population, a different crowd into what you got going on. Why do you think the Dirt Motorsports Hall of Fame is having a farmers market tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because
bring people in.
Right.
Absolutely.
Something different to draw a crowd.
I thought Weedsport had a good thing going with the stage and Orange County with the stage, but
Sure.
With Glenn Donnelly moving away, and probably no one really wants to take on that burden anymore. But I always thought
I will.
Bringing concerts into a racetrack was awesome.
Yeah.
Glenn Donnelly, if he ever gets the new track off the ground, is bringing concerts into that racetrack.
You bet your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know why more tracks don't do that. I really don't. I think it's something. I mean, I went to Can-Am 2 years ago. Godsmack got kicked out of Watertown because Godsmack. It's the devil. So Chip Burdick, I remember Chip Burdick texted me. He goes, "Who's this Godsmack? Are they good?" I said, "Chip, I would jump on that like you would not believe." And they moved the concert over to Can-Am Motorsports Park, and I went up there, and they had a good, legit 8,000 to 9,000 people. And I say probably out of that 9,000, 8,925 never been to that racetrack before.
That's cool.
But it was that packed, and it was just awesome. I mean, it was. It was a good time, and I don't know for the life of me why more racetracks do not do that. You have the air, especially if you own the track.
Yep.
You got so many ways. Stages aren't expensive.
I'm all about multi-use venue.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm all about multi-use venue, and that's something we talk about every time we get a chance to at the Hall of Fame. How do we make the most use of any venue? Yeah. And the guys who bought out Weedsport, if you're worried about running concerts, if you're worried about that kind of stuff, get a hold of me. Call me.
Yeah.
Because I got Jack Spino. He's my wingman. He's been around this stuff, and I know about 50 other people who are involved in motorsports of being on that deal as well. If we want to bring concerts back to Central New York, you always used to hear it on the radio. It's summer when they're rocking on Weedsport.
Yes.
Let's do it again.
And they had 10,000 people. Well, actually, they cap it at 10,000 people because it's just didn't have.
Yep.
And I don't know how many concerts were sold out. I mean, over half the concerts were actually sold out at Weedsport. So you're making money.
I saw Queensryche there.
I did too. I was there.
Get out.
No, I was there. I saw Queensryche. I was there for all the K-Rockathons too. Even the one that got muddy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was muddy. That's a euphemism.
That was a bad one, but I still hung on. I was there for Queensryche.
No kidding, man. Isn't that cool?
We're aging ourselves, but it's okay.
That's all right.
Was it Queensryche and Scorpions, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it was, yeah. Chris, how old were you when Queensryche and Scorpions were on top of the charts?
What year was that? 87,
no, that'd be late 90s.
Late
right?
90s,
yeah. Late 90s. They were actually past their
90s?
prime.
Yeah, Silent Lucidity was kind of coming to an end as like their single.
Yeah, and the Scorpions have been a band for a long. Scorpions were popular when I was in college. I mean, they were one of the when MTV used to play videos.
Way back then.
Yeah, way back then. Believe it or not, they actually played videos. Scorpions were one of the main modern rock bands that were on there.
And I get these two bands mixed up all the time. Rock You Like a Hurricane?
Yeah, Scorpions. Yeah.
Good call, bro.
Come on.
Yeah, look at that.
Good call. Look at this kid. He's all right.
Pulled one out. What's Obama say? Even the blind squirrel can.
You gotta swear though. If you're gonna do it, you gotta swear.
Even a beep. Britain can find a beep beep beep. Batman.
Yeah, I will not drop an F-bomb in Bombas's thing. Actually, what's going on out there?
In honor.
Actually, I was wondering about the other thing that Lyle alluded to was how deep the people were standing along the fence line. And like in the wake of everything that happened in Bridgeport, you really want people standing that close to the track?
Well, the
know?
video that's on YouTube was by the track sponsor, and it was this car that came down the front stretch, and it was like a rollover contest. So he would have two wheels up on a ramp and then just roll over. Yeah. But it was near the pit side of the front stretch, so it wasn't anywhere close. But I looked at that crowd and the reaction. I mean, the car only went around 3 times. Hell, I could do that on a dance floor. But the way the crowd reacted, oh my God, it was just,
It takes skill to barrel roll the car the right way.
Yeah, I guess it does. And to come out of it too.
I saw a guy run the same car. He did 3 flips in a row over at Brookfield Wheel Days. It was pretty cool.
Was it Wild Bill Dominic?
No, his last name was Mitchell. He was
rain to lay it out, Fremont.
And he flipped it. One time he hit it, and he corkscrewed down, and he slammed the corner, and ended up flipping the car up on his nose and did a pirouette before it landed on his roof.
That's so sweet.
A bunch of guys came out and pushed it back over, and he fired it up and went again.
That takes a lot of talent.
I tell you, and I think I mentioned this before, but one of my favorite shows ever at Canandaigua was a regular Saturday night. And even my dad came up from Middletown for this. They had the monster trucks on the same night as a regular card of racing. And I'm sure you can't do it now because probably the purses would be just astronomical. Yep. But you want to talk about a crowd. I mean, and that was one of my first ever monster truck shows. And, you go to one of those things and you're hooked. You're real because of the power of the trucks. And they literally shake the grandstands and everything. But to have that on a Saturday night, I mean, I don't know if anyone would want to do that now because probably the monster trucks can draw the same crowd by themselves. Right. But they were there, and it was Bigfoot and all of them because that's back then when they had the tour and they ran points and you had to go to these races. Believe it or not, monster trucks are more show now with the freestyle and everything. But they actually had a tour back in those days where you earned points at every event and you had a champion. Yeah. And Canandaigua brought that tour in and they had all the big trucks there. And I mean, it was just unreal show.
Monster trucks are more akin to like professional wrestling nowadays. But
yeah, I mean, I went to the one at the fairgrounds last year and I tell you what, the freestyle is still amazing now. Yeah. I mean, Gravedigger would not stop until it got upside down. And that's what the crowd wanted. And then when I think it was still Dennis Anderson who's still driving it. He got up on the side.
He still drives.
Yeah. Does he drive Gravedigger still or no? Yeah. I think it was Dennis Anderson at the fairgrounds.
There's like 7 Gravediggers.
Yeah.
They're
but he was there
on the tour. Dennis Anderson, Adam Anderson, Ryan Anderson, they're still in the fold somehow. Okay. Charlie Pauken, he's still out there.
He would not.
Sorry, I know I'm taking you down that redneck road again.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. As long as you don't go figure 8 racing on us, we'll be all right.
I was born redneck. I'll die redneck. Dennis Anderson's backbone must look like mashed potatoes, by the way. All the shots he's taken over the years. Imagine what that guy
back in the day, they didn't have the suspensions they had. When they landed, it's like, oh, my God. Bam. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was a stiff truck that landed and went kaboom.
That's a little bit deceptive, though, because back when that was just starting to get going, like Outlaw was big, and there was Taurus was big. Oh, yeah. Those guys, they were first going. They would run over 2 flights of 8 cars for time in a straight line, and that was it. There was no freestyle. So, the hits that they weren't getting really high in the air.
True.
And as the trucks got more technology in them, and they were pushing the limits of what the trucks could do, in turn, then came the bigger jumps. If you can jump 20 feet in the air, well, let's make a ramp that'll put you 25, and the truck would go over to 30. You know what I mean? And that's really where a lot of this new influx guys like Jim Kaler from Michigan. He drives Avenger. Tom Meents, who had Goldberg, which turned into Maximum Destruction, and Dennis Anderson sort of led that charge. And it was in that whole transition when they started doing those huge jumps and changing the technology and really making it a show more than just straight line drag racing with 17,
which is what I remember on ESPN.
1,700 horsepower trucks.
National Network used to run those all the time.
Well, again, case in point.
Yeah.
But that's when that stuff really started changing, and that's why Gravedigger went past Bigfoot. There was this big breakup in the midst of all this stuff with Monster Jam, and Bigfoot felt that he was robbed at one of the events, and it's like, you stupid idiot, you're part of one of the richest franchises going right now with Feld Motorsports and what they've got going between the quad wars and the bikes and the concerts and all this stuff with Monster. Feld Motorsports owns most of those trucks. They're not privately owned anymore.
Yeah, because Bigfoot, you don't hear anything of Bigfoot anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he'll run the Thunder National circuit and stuff like that, and he'll cross paths with Reptoid. He'll see, Carolina Crusher when he makes his select shows and stuff like that, and some of these other guys that are on the fringe. But he basically wouldn't come back because he's like, it's rigged. Obviously it's rigged. You alluded to WWE. Yeah. I mean, somewhat. It's a popularity contest. Yep. I mean, the big marketing is behind Advanced Auto Parts Grinder,
Gravedigger, of course, yeah.
Maximum Destruction,
Yeah.
and El Toro Loco. And they're all owned by the people that own Monster Jam. Of course they're going to get the biggest push.
Sure.
Bonehead. I
Yep.
mean, and if you don't want to be a part of it, that's fine. You need to sign off if you're going to be part of that part of your
Or come
apparel
up with
sales
a niche that you can join in.
or something.
Yeah.
Do something. I mean, what's it like for Mike Vaders, he's the guy that runs Black Stallion. He shows up with a Thunder Nationals championship decal on the roof of his truck when he runs Monster Jam. That's free advertising for another venue.
Yep.
But in order to run a Monster Jam sanctioned event, if you're not under contract with them, you need to sign a one-day contract, and half or a portion, I can't remember what the percentages were now, but a portion of any proceeds that you get from running that go back to Monster Jam. So if you sell shirts, if you sell apparel, if you have your own apparel trailer,
Oh, man.
when some of that has to go
Listen to
back.
Chris know this stuff.
I
This
like
is
it.
impressive.
I like it.
The girls are going to like you, man.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. Well, you've got the Red Sox hat on, Trey.
No, you can go full redneck with me anytime you want to.
No,
Chris.
well,
I dig
yeah.
this stuff.
That's,
I
it's,
like stunt shows. I like monster trucks. I like
I do
demo
too.
derbies. I
do
love
too.
all that stuff.
Yeah. Demo derbies is always my
Boy,
favorite.
Hook, we're done. Hook is out to lunch on this. The show is not going very well tonight. Hook says we don't care about the big trucks. Talk about racing. Someone put a stop to this.
Hey, we haven't put NASCAR on here yet or Formula One. So
Actually, he alluded to NASCAR too.
Oh,
Sorry,
jeez.
Hook.
Yeah.
This show is not going very well.
Should I mention ESS has got 7 shows in 9 nights?
7 shows,
7
9
shows,
nights.
9 nights, yeah.
At awesome tracks.
Either the guys
too.
are going to love me or they're going to hate me.
Awesome tracks, too. There's,
You can find out more on the Empire Super Sprint app powered by AT&T.
Yeah, Android-only phones now because Apple wants freaking money for it. Sorry, Jay. I'll get you an Android when you come over to the dark side.
Yep, when this thing's up, I'm with you.
I'll show you
brother.
Android.
Yeah.
So.
When this thing's up.
Yeah.
I got Mallet on Android. He loves it. So Dirt Track Digest, Android app.
Sure.
You go to Apple, they want money. What the heck? Jeez. Sorry, you iPhone users out there, but Android's where it's at.
That's right.
So, but Jay, you're dressed very nicely tonight as Chris is going out, probably trying to get Gilly there. So
Straight from work, man.
Yeah,
Crazy day.
Thanks for the ride. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very
Beers on
welcome.
me afterwards, though.
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
too.
Are you allowed to get one afterwards?
I may be allowed afterwards to get one.
Yeah, because I just got to ask my cat, see if I can come home late. So I'll be
Meow.
good. Yeah,
I got to ask a cat, too.
So this is going to be cool. I'm excited. I'm sure Gil's going to have a lot of good stories to tell.
I-88 last night.
Yes.
Matt Shepard got a big win down there. Led all 60 laps.
Probably should talk about current events, huh? Bub
Yeah.
McCool wins the late model race at Canandaigua, and there is a rain delay at Fremont right now. They got the lineup set. Time trials are done, but the All-Star Circuit of Champions is on a rain delay at Fremont. The sun is out now. I guess in Ohio the sun's probably still out.
Sure.
Malin and Bamas yesterday went on amusement park. I forgot where the heck. Cedar Point.
Cedar Point,
and Bamas was chicken to go
Sandusky.
on to the main one, but they both got through it without puking, I guess. So that's I put on Facebook I puke. I do it on a dare for money or beer, but
Heck
yeah,
yeah.
I'm still. You don't want to sit next to me when we do it. So
I'll still rock a roller coaster. I don't care.
I'll close my eyes and just let it come out, and that's it. It's all right as long as there's money coming my way. I have no shame. So Chris is waving his phone.
We have
like it's
successful
golden. I love the
Phone
technology here.
connections technology.
Love the
People use
technology.
it.
We got nice curtains and everything, but we still got the same phone.
Curtains.
I'm gonna let you
There
guys
you-
take this.
You guys,
Gil, yeah, Gil, you got us?
all right?
Yeah, we got you. Well, I'm glad you could join us. How was the golf course tonight?
Not bad. I mean, typical shooting in the 50s for me, but as long as I have fun, that's all that matters.
Well, you can't argue with that. On the topic of fun, tell us a little bit about running the late models the last couple of nights.
It was a 4-race deal, and the first couple races, I was a little hesitant. I didn't know, I hadn't been to a couple of the tracks, so. But the whole time I was real excited because I knew, we were going to end up at Canandaigua, and unfortunately, I don't know, we missed the setup real bad Tuesday. So Canandaigua was a pretty big disappointment for us. But Brighton and Cornwall, we were decent. So the short tracks we were good. It was just frustrating to be that bad at Canandaigua, at my home track. So it was a tough night Tuesday.
What could you take from running the modified at Canandaigua and apply to the late model? I mean, we've seen other guys come from Canandaigua and jump into late model and have success. You look at Vic Coffey. Billy Decker's run well at Canandaigua in the past, and then, of course, the most prolific two were Tim Fuller and Tim McCready. What were you able to take from running the modified and apply to what you were doing with that late model, being that it was a 4-race deal and it was still pretty new?
Yeah, I mean the thing is with the late models, you're kind of riding up on the right front, whereas in the modified you're on the right rear, so it's definitely a different feel. At Canandaigua, I figured with the modified I'd at least have where to let off, or at least, just from running there so much, I just figured I'd have a better line, and just familiarity with the track. And unfortunately, I think it actually it messed me up even worse, because I just I was more uncomfortable there than the other 3 tracks. So I think just running there every week in the modified, it hurt me more actually. So, which surprised me. I just expected it to come more natural, and it didn't.
Did you overthink
it? If it was a setup on the late model or just difference in the cars.
Did you overthink it? Put too much pressure on yourself, thinking that it was your home track?
Yeah, definitely. I was gearing up for Tuesday, and I started to get comfortable in the car at Cornwall, and then I brushed the wall, so it kind of put me back a step. So when I got to Canandaigua, I thought, well, this is my track. Go out there and push it, and it just didn't. I think I put a little too much pressure on myself, and it just didn't work out. And some of it was set up, because I know the car is a decent car, and the motor wasn't a problem, because I was, I don't even know if I was half throttle, so I was just spinning and sliding around, and I just couldn't get out of my own way Tuesday.
Yeah, but a couple weeks back, you did just fine over at Canandaigua with the modified.
Yeah, I had a feeling we were going to be pretty good, and we started up front, and the car was good, and we had a good run with Derek, and it was a great night. And then we come back the following week, and I told myself that, I seen Justin he won, I don't know, a month ago or whatever. And it's not easy. I mean, you can win one week and run 18th the next week. That's just how tough it is at Canandaigua. There's a bunch of really good cars there, and the track is real racy. It's a little slippery, but it's like playing chess every week. You gotta have your head into it, and your confidence level's got to be up there. It's just a tough deal, and it's every week. It's a challenge, and we've been working our butts off all week this week, and I think we're going to be good again. But it's a tough deal. You're running with probably 15 good guys. They run 14 or 15 guys run the series, so they're definitely. They got some experience.
It seems like the type of place where you've almost got to run the perfect race in order to win at it. I mean, Shepard's always going to be in the conversation. Ayers always going to be in the conversation. Jimmy Phelps is that. The list goes on and on. You've almost got to run the perfect race. Is that your take on your win from back on the 13th? That you had your perfect race that night?
Yeah, there was one of the restarts. I pushed a little bit, in turns 1 and 2. And Derek got under me, and I mean that was probably one of the only mistakes I made. And fortunately, I was able to keep the momentum up, and I got back ahead of him, and then down into 3. I got back down towards mid track, and it worked out. So I mean, I in my mind, I think I made one mistake, but I think one more mistake would have been all it would have taken to maybe lose that race, whether it would have been Derek or Billy or even Matt,
Sure.
So yeah, you gotta run a near perfect race to pull one off there.
What was it like having the opportunity to stand in victory lane at Canandaigua after all you've been through with the motorcycle accident?
It was awesome. when I crossed the line, I mean, I knew I had seen the double checkers, but I still want a half a lap, just to make sure. But I know I yelled out, you're in the car by yourself, but I know I had, it was a pretty, it just was a moment by myself that, I went around a lap, and it was awesome. And I've had, 10, 12 wins in small blocks, but it's different because, in the small blocks, there was maybe 4 or 5 guys that, could pull a win off. And, at Canandaigua, there's 10, 12 guys, and it's a lot tougher. And after last year, crashing on a motorcycle and laying in the hospital for 10 days, not eating, not being able to eat, drink, not even be able to drink water. It was, this last month has it's been unbelievable just to think back, where I was a year ago. And, even on the golf course tonight, I was out here and I thought for sure it was going to rain all day, and we were out here golfing and it was quiet, and I'm like, man, I'm just out here golfing. This is it's unbelievable. Last year, I was laying at my dad's house, and it was, thank God for family and friends, though. I mean, they did get me through it, and the doctors were unbelievable. So, I mean, it was, without them, it would have been real bad, but thank God for family and friends.
How much rehabilitation did it actually take for you to get back on your feet? I mean, the motorcycle accident, you broke some ribs, you messed up your back, you had both arms broke, right?
Yeah, I broke my right arm, the humerus. It was a compound fracture, and actually that was the toughest thing. The neck was wear a neck brace for 15, 16 weeks, and maybe I got to take it off when I took a shower. I mean, so the thing was on 24/7. So the neck healed on its own, and when I got to the point where I took the neck brace off, the doctor said, "Oh, you're good. Just do this for 2 weeks, and and that's it." But the arm was tough. I mean, it's still tight, but for 2-3 months I couldn't even lift my wrist up, and I couldn't wash my hair. It was one hand in the shower, and it was just the arm it was definitely the toughest thing. And I'm back at the gym now, and I'm still a little weaker with my right arm, but everything's coming along really well. And even my eye, the right eye was a little messed up. I had some optic nerve damage, and that's gotten better. And I think it's probably to the point where this is the best it's gonna be. It's with glasses. I'm 20/20, and everything worked out pretty good. But I'm just extremely lucky that everything went the way it did. And every day at one point during the day, I don't know, I just sit back and said, man, I'm just lucky. Whether it's lifting a tire up to put on a car at work, or out here golfing, just to be able to be out and about and walking around and just doing the everyday things that you kind of take for granted. It's unbelievable. So to win that race was just that made it that much sweeter.
Do you still have a motorcycle?
Ooh.
Well, I still have the motorcycle. It's in the garage. It's still all tore up, and it's probably going to stay that way for a while. And my mom would probably kill me, or she'd have a heart attack. So I'm going to stay off the motorcycle. It's not anything I'm going to do in the near future. That's for sure.
Gil, when you were laid up in the hospital and doing therapy, was auto racing a goal? Was that something you look forward to come back to maybe help you maybe go through therapy a little bit easier, or was it just getting back to lead a normal life? But is racing that important to you? Did you really want to get back to a race car, and did that help you out as far as rehab?
That's a great question, and actually that was one of the first things I asked the doctor.
Really?
I said,
Nice.
am I going to be able to race again? And, and at that point in my life, racing, it was important. I think it might have been even more important for my dad. I know he loves it, and but I think that was one of the first things I asked is, will I be able to race again? And then I did start to go to therapy, and it just started building. It was like, you know what, I think I am going to be able to do this. And one day I was in therapy, and there was another guy there, and he goes to Canandaigua, and he came over to me, and I didn't know who he was, and we started talking, and he says, "Hey, how you doing?" And he knew who I was, and that was the kind of thing. It just pushed me even harder, and I said, we're going to get back. We'll be back at this. And the only thing that concerned me was my eye. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, and everything's, come around, and it's been good. I mean, we were good, too, before I got hurt. And we're good, but I don't think we were as good as we were last year. But, we're still... we're just working our butts off trying to get back to where we were.
Now, modified skill, I know you branched off the small blocks for a little while, but I remember you and your dad back in the day, you traveled to series, did Super Dirt Week and everything. What's different between modified, say, 15 years ago and now? Because you did do all that traveling and everything, and now, Canandaigua Saturday night is fitting your plans now, but what is the biggest difference you find?
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to be on your game. I'm not saying that back then the guys weren't as good, but it just seems like on any given night, a lot of different guys have a chance to win. And the one thing I kind of missed about back in the day, we did travel, and you hung around the guys a lot more. Whether you were at a restaurant, you're on the road, wherever, at a Golden Corral, wherever, and you'd be with other racers, and it was kind of more family oriented. You just kind of hung around those people, and it was kind of like that with the late models last week, But now I'm not traveling, and I just do the Saturday night Canandaigua thing, and guys at the end of the night, man, they load their car up, and it's off to either the next race or it's off back to the shop, and it's just a lot more intense, and I'm not saying it's not fun, but it's definitely more rewarding to pull off like a win or something now. But back then it just seemed like you hung out with the guys a little more. Maybe you went to the bar afterwards and had some wings and a couple beers and laughed and sometimes even fought over some things that went on that night. But
yeah.
It's not as personable as it used to be. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just the way. I don't have an answer for that, but I definitely, back in the day, we had a lot of fun, and we still have fun, but it's just a different kind of fun. People kind of stick to themselves, and it's just a little different.
Kind of building on what you alluded to there, it kind of sounds a little bit like you're saying that maybe the level of competition wasn't the same back then. It was more spread out. More people might have had a chance to win. Now you've got there's a number of teams that have the high-end equipment, and then there's everybody else. Between what it was 15 years ago and what we have now, would you agree that there's a larger separation between for lack of a better term, between the haves and the have-nots?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, the guys that win, it seems that they win a little bit more on a regular basis, but the difference is the guys that finish 3rd through 15th, that's just way tougher now. Mm-hmm. It just seems like the middle of the pack got a lot better. I'm not saying those guys can go out there and win every week, but they can run very well, and it seems like there's a lot. Everyone's got real good equipment. Obviously, there's I don't know, put a number on it. Maybe 10% of the guys have really good stuff, and then there's the rest of the guys, But the middle of the pack just seems to be so much tougher. I mean, obviously, if you can go out there and sneak a win out, it's a huge accomplishment. But it's so much tougher to run the middle of the pack now.
It's interesting.
Yeah, great
it's
perspective.
interesting. Yeah, it is.
I mean, now it's like 10% of the drivers win 90% of the races, where back 13, 15, 18 years ago it was it was a little bit more widespread. Maybe 25 or 30% of the drivers won 65 or 75% of the races.
Back in the day, you can remember Dougie Madison or Bobby Payne would actually win a Saturday night at Canandaigua, and you don't find that hardly anymore. I think that's why Gil's win was such a headline maker, because you don't see that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to Canandaigua and you can kind of count who's going to be you kind of figure who's going to finish where. You got 3 drivers that are going to be in the first 3 spots, and you got another 5 drivers are going to be in the next 6 spots.
There was periods in time when McCready and Plazik were putting together significant wins and heaps and
but you
stuff
still
like that.
had different winners, though. Here you're getting.
I think you had
Matt's going to have 5 wins. Billy Dunn's going to have 4. Jimmy Phelps is going to have 4, and then it's going to stop right there.
Yeah.
I think that's what Gil's
you got more. I think back when Plazik and McCready were piling up, 30, 40, 50 wins a year, you still at the local level had this. It was still a local style.
And they also
race
ran
car.
3 nights a week.
And they also ran 3 nights a week.
Thing.
That too,
Yeah.
but it just seemed to me that there was more variety of winners, whereas now that just isn't the way that it is.
It's you guys hit it right on the nail on the head. I mean, Derek and I were talking, and we both kind of struggled last week after we both had we had good runs. I won. He was, I think, 3rd. And we said, you know what, we're not that much different than we were the night we ran really well. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of it is in your head, too. I mean, it's so much more mental. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if it's when I was younger, if it was, hey, I'm crazy, I'm just going to go out. The guys used to tell me, go out, I don't care if you destroy the car, we'll put it back together. And now, now I'm working on the car. And I do have a guy, Paulie Hersha, he's there with me 3 days a week. I mean, without him in the shop, I couldn't get it done. But, now it's like I got to look at what the end result is. And if I go out there and drive over my head and trash the car, now it's a big deal. Back then, I was young. I hate to say it, I was kind of young and dumb, and I just I tried to drive the wheels off it, and those guys said, don't worry, we'll fix it. And my dad even, he didn't say, oh, go destroy the car and I'll get a new one. But, now it's like, man, I see the bills, I see how much money it costs, I order the tire, and I don't want to spend a ton of money. I mean, I want to be competitive, but I don't want to spend $40,000, $50,000 a year to run, Canandaigua, to the next level. I want to have fun, but I want to try to keep it as affordable as I can.
Sure.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to get, Gil has done the series, like he said, and traveled around, but now he's a Saturday nighter, and it's kind of interesting to hear a Saturday nighter's point of view, and it's an interesting take.
Yeah, it's going on the road is fun, and but you know what, I'm going to be 42 in a couple weeks, and I don't know, you look at it, realistically, you got to look at who you're running against. If I was really going to go back on the road, I'd have to have a big chunk of money. I'd have to have 3 guys, committed to pretty much full time and working on this thing every night. And, we're more like, let's work on this thing 2-3 days a week and just do it once a week, have fun. And you know what, pull off a win once in a while like that, and it just makes it's just as rewarding. I mean, yeah, I'd love to go on the tour and run, top 10 in the series. And I still kind of want to do 1 year before I before I hang it up. Just run the tour 1 year. And, I know my window's getting a little smaller, but it is one kind of my bucket list, It's kind of like, let's hit this tour now that I kind of know what's going on. When I did it when I was 19, it was like, I had no idea what really was going on. And now, I mean, I know I still got things I can learn, and I know, it's still something I don't claim to have it all figured out. So, but I'd love to try it one full year, and just to see how we do, and if we could run in the top 10, that'd be a successful year for us.
Well, in order to get there, you got to have a lot of people behind you. I mean, take a minute before we wrap up here. Take a minute and recognize some of the folks that help keep your car going back to the track.
I'll tell you, sponsorship-wise, we're a little light. The good old days of the Hooters, Bud Light, that stuff.
I missed that card.
My
Hooters.
dad, without him, obviously, I wouldn't be able to do this. My sister, All-Star Pizza, she helps us out. Mayfield's Pub, they help us out. And, that's about it. I mean, my dad puts basically most of the bill. And then as far as the crew, I mean, I got Gumby, I got Rich Farden, Jeremy Savald, and Paul, like I said, Paul Hersha has been coming on board the last month and a half, working with me during the week, because everyone's working. During the day, he's there with me 2-3 days a week, and I mean, what a difference. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just with his help, how much more we can get done, and we're doing things on the car that I used to kind of. Some days, some weeks, it'd just be too busy, and I'd say, you know what, I don't have time to check this or check that, And he went through the car this week and he checked every Heim over, and just little things like that. I mean, you can't do this by yourself, and without those guys, and without my dad, my sister, and Mayfield's Pub, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, we got to give you big congratulations on the win, of course.
Absolutely.
And it's great to see you back out there, running regular, running successful, and hopefully in the very near future we'll see you back on the tour for a full year.
Well, I thank you guys for having me on. I mean, this was, like I say, I just got done golfing, and I'm glad I ended up, I was able to be on the show, and it makes me that much more excited. It's just fun. I have more fun with the fan interaction and just talking to people at the track than I probably do racing, and I think my dad even feels the same way. I think over 22 years, the friends that we've made and the people we've met, that's what it's all about. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You don't really think about it until maybe you get hurt, and have an injury like I did, and people are, on Facebook, and they're sending you messages, and they're sending you cards up to the hospital, and you know what, that's the thing that brings the goosebumps out. And when I won the other night, or 2 weeks ago, it was unbelievable. But I think sometimes when just the people you meet and talk to is just as exciting, and it's awesome.
Well, we hope you do it again this year.
Absolutely, Gil.
Yeah, we're definitely. I mean, I'd love to do it. I'd love to win again, and we're pushing, and I know we can do it. I mean, we got to have. I'm not going to say we got to have the stars line up in the right, but obviously we're an underdog. We know that, but we know if we get the right situation, we can take advantage of it. So that's why we do it, man. We work hard all week, and we're definitely pushing for another one.
Well, we wish you the best, and we appreciate your time tonight, and we'll look forward to getting the chance to catch up with you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks Gil.
A lot.
Really great stuff.
Yes.
Really great stuff. Gil Tegg Jr.
I tell you, I'd known Gil when he was that 19-year-old kid, and that's a humbled Gil Tegg right there.
Yeah.
That's
age will do that to us.
It's a 180 from what he was. Not to detract, because back then, being young, cocky, and everything was what his success was because he was good. He was good behind the wheel. But, you can tell, he's thankful for the things, and it was good to hear. And, it's good to hear because Gil was one of those up-and-coming young guys that was supposed to be the future of dirt motorsports, and it just never did pan out. And now, he went small block racing. He kind of left the central New York area, and now he's come back to run big blocks again. And, with the accident. But yet, he's not bothered by that. He wants to run the Tour one more year. And you know what? I think he could be top 10 in the Tour because, Tim Courier and those guys are having success on the Tour. Absolutely. Because Gil knows the tracks. He's been
barring any major bad luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he would have to, get the inventory up, 2 cars, 2 motors, and stuff like that. But Gil knows the tracks. He's been there. He's done the traveling, so he knows what the preparation is. And, it can become fun to see. I think Dirt should actually Dirt should solicit it and try to get him as one of the 12 teams because the teams that follow the Tour still get some perks, and I think Gil Tegg will be a good addition.
Heck yeah.
So. Can you believe that we've gone nearly an hour and 40 minutes?
I tell you what, though, it's all because of great guests.
Yeah,
we just let them talk.
Yeah, we didn't do it. Yeah, we didn't do anything.
We didn't do
tonight.
anything. I mean,
except for we pissed off Hook. We got him upset because we were talking about monster trucks for...
Yar, Hook.
I always said better to piss off one than to piss off everyone.
Well, nobody else is talking anymore.
We might have gotten them all.
We may have done the successful sweep of all of them.
Thanks for hanging in there, Hook.
Yeah.
Pissed off as you are at us.
Yeah, everyone wants to hear Bombas drop an F-bomb and Mallet pick on everybody, but, sometimes we got to let... Sometimes we got to let
the guest talk.
We got to let the guest talk, the guest does make the shows. But
Well, I'm glad you came out, Dean. It was good to see you again.
Yeah.
It was good to talk a little hockey before we got going. And Jay, of course, with your lovely tie and your Gatorade. It was good to see you. And I look forward to you coming back next week, hopefully. Yes?
You keep up that mouth of yours, you won't see me ever again, fella.
Okay.
I'll be back.
What are you going to do next week? Have you thought about it?
What are we going to do next week? I don't know what we're going to do next week.
God, a live remote at Brewertown.
Wow, that'd be so sweet.
Be an easy track to do the setup, too.
There's a lot that goes into those live remotes.
Yeah, I know that. I'm off all day.
Yeah.
I got the week off.
I'm not broadcasting all day from Brewertown.
No, I mean, to get stuff set up. Mallet lives in that town. I'm sure he could be over by 3.
I'm 5 minutes away.
Yeah. You got help if you need it.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
You got the help.
I think that we're probably, for the sanity of everyone's families, that we're probably going to end up taking the week off, realistically.
Oh, he's looking at me about families. I don't have one.
No, I'm looking at you because you don't have one.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm an orphan myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, you come out,
burn that one down, didn't you?
You come out, hook the crap up, and we'll take care of it.
No, I'm not doing that. No. I basically when this stuff goes with me to a facility, it goes to me with a facility, and it's handcuffed to me the whole time because if anything breaks, I'm the one that needs to explain it.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
And I don't want that responsibility.
So race it like you stole it. It's not privy here.
No.
Okay.
No.
Jeez.
No, and if you are going to race it like you stole it, make sure you have splash guards on the cameras.
Oh, jeez. He just said it. Yeah.
It's the same rule they use in the adult film industry.
What?
Oh,
wow.
Hey, whoa. Even I didn't even take it to that level yet.
Nope.
Oh, my God.
Splash guards on the cameras, folks.
Oh, my God.
On that note.
Yep.
Be sure to tip your waitress.
I don't think we're going any further than that.
We did have a 16-year-old on the show today. You know that.
Oh.
Guys, thanks for everything. We're going to see you right back here in 2 weeks on the 31st lap. We'll see you soon.